You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. That's the definition of a good-looking person. Always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you've chosen consciously and conscientiously to tune into the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore, known as the Ambassador of Joy. Now, notice I didn't say the Ambassador of Joy. The Ambassador of Joy. And you tuned into this show for one reason and one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world because you care the most, the entire world, about you. Y-O-U. And that's great because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And you are joined at this very moment by approximately 517,613 people around the world. And every one of you is here for the same reason, because you care the most about you. Now, I am deeply humbled and honored that you're always urging your family and friends to join the show. We have 25,000 people every single week, coming more and more. So we're going to be up to 1 million people in the next few months. So I urge you, continue to share this with at least 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100? That's great. But at least 5 people, and love us on Spotify or Apple, wherever it is, and just enjoy the show and share the information, because this is transformational, especially today. You're going to be really happy that you're here because you're going to have another Barry. He's a Rick Barry, and I'm a Barry Shore. So just buckle up and get ready. So before we bring on wonderful Rick Barry, I just want to make mention of something. The reason that you're here is you know that we discuss the 3 fundamentals of life. And when you work with these 3 fundamentals, the result is you're happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Now, the 3 fundamentals are, number 1, life. Your life has purpose. When you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens. Now, good number 2, you go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the 3rd fundamental is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, our show is carried over the internet throughout the world. You ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably, it has to do with the internet. Factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? And of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, for enabling that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral and not just touch tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. Whenever you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you can internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Let me tell you a quick story. It's about me. Imagine, if you can, I'm standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. In the evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from my neck down. And it was not from an automobile accident. It wasn't a spinal injury. It was a rare disease. Never heard of it the day before. Takes over my body and renders me what's called quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moves from my neck down. I can only communicate blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't move. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, my hips, my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. Can't walk up a stair by myself. Can't walk up a curb by myself. I help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant, all because of the one word. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. I got to tell you, I'm privileged to speak to people around the world, millions of people every month in my 2 different podcasts. I even did an in-person show recently, 1,127 people in the audience. And I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and seeing miracles in life. And some people raise their hand and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water, drink? Do you have food? Do you have a place to sleep? Do you have family or friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, you're watching or listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live exuberantly. So let me just discuss with you something that's amazing. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a couple of weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile, sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. What was she doing? Creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a wonderful acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. You're going to learn about rethinking and excelling today. And this is really about what we call a shift in perspective. Now, I've been working with people for more than half a century, and I can tell you when they come to me on paper, they're doing fine. Then we start talking, and what happens is oftentimes people drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to keep your F's in place. And then you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. And these are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your path in life and your trajectory. Now, before we bring on wonderful Rick Barry, I want to warn him and warn other people listening. I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, pray, free, give, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, that's right. F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends, twinkle in your eyes, smile on your face, remember to stand for, point your finger and say, F-U, everybody. You got their attention. Now you add right away, capital N, capital N. Says, wow, where'd you get that? So I was listening to Barry Shore. He had on this guy, and he was telling me all about, and you can share with them what you learned today. So before we bring on wonderful Rick, I just want to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life, because you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. To harmonize and nurture kindness. KIND is a fabulous acronym. It stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody right now that inspires noble deeds that I want to share with you other than wonderful Rick Barry. Rick, please say hello to 527,811 people around the world.
Hey, everybody. I hope everybody is healthy, happy, having fun, and full of joy. And I agree with you. So many of the things that you just talked about, Barry, were things that fortunately I had parents who instilled a lot of that in me. Unfortunately, a lot of children growing up don't have those types of values and concepts to live by, which is unfortunate. And as people fortunate enough as we are, if we can help to get somebody to learn how to incorporate those things like joy and smile and fun and love, they're going to have a much better life. There's no question about that. So I really can relate to a lot of things that you said. In fact, one of the things that really jumped out at me when you were talking to start the show was that you make the choices and you want to make yourself happy. That's not being selfish, okay? Because in order to make someone else happy, you have to be happy. If you're not a happy person, you're not going to make anybody around you happy. You're going to make them freaking miserable. So, so try to be happy. All right. Look at the positive side of things. You know, you're going to have a lot of negative things in life. Life is a series of adventures. You'll have negative things happening to you. If negative things happen to you, you have the choice of how do you react to those negative things. Are you going to let it ruin your life? Are you going to be
No,
miserable? I mean,
no.
I say if it really affects you, have a good cry and get over it because it's in the past. You can't change what has already happened. So don't use up valuable time, valuable energy, valuable emotion on something that you can't change.
So I am just, I'm loving it already. Rick Barry, for those of you who don't know, because most people are under the age of 35, so you may not know, and it's all in the show notes. You're going to say, I'm going to give you 3 data points about Rick, because if I started giving you his whole CV, it would take the rest of the show. 3 data points. Number 1, good guy. Number 2, he's in the NBA, National Basketball Association Hall of Fame. Yes, that's how famous and wonderful and great he was as a basketball
I
player.
have to correct you. It's not the National Basketball Association Hall of Fame. It's the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. It has to do with somebody's career in the world. The basketball international players are in there. Females are in there. Contributors. It's so there's no National Basketball Hall of Fame. They do have the NBA Top 50 and Top 75, and I was chosen to those, which was a nice honor to have. But the Basketball Hall of Fame is a separate entity supported by the NBA as well.
So wait a minute, just to be clear, this is the one in Springfield,
One in
Massachusetts.
Springfield is the Naismith Memorial Basketball
Okay,
Hall of Fame. James Naismith is the inventor of basketball. He's a Canadian,
okay,
and so it's a different thing than the NBA. The NBA honored players by picking a top 50 team, and then they added 25 more and had a 75th anniversary team as well. And so I was fortunate enough to be chosen to be a member of both of those teams.
okay. So I'm glad to be corrected on that. First of all, I've been there a number of times. I didn't know the official title. My sister, I have my younger sister. I have 2 sisters. My younger, not the youngest, lives in Springfield, actually Long Meadow. So I've been. She goes often. It is an amazing place. And yes, Mr. Naismith, with a peach basket, invented basketball, even if it's not exactly true, which it probably is. It's a great story. And the point is, yeah. So Rick has been inducted into that basketball. I mean, the Naismith Hall of Fame, 1987. And I want to mention one other thing, and that is children. Rick is privileged to have, I think, 5 or 6 children.
I have 6 children, 5 boys. All five have got Division I college basketball scholarships and have played professionally on one level or another, which in and of itself is miraculous. The odds on that are so ridiculous. I mean, I was hoping that one of them would be good enough to play basketball. So, yeah, it's been a blessing for me. And it's so funny that you even bring them up because I thought my days of watching my sons play basketball was over when my son Canyon retired after playing in the 2024 Olympics in Paris, representing the USA on the 3x3 basketball team, the national team. And just this past weekend, my oldest son, Scooter, who is going to be 60 years old, I have a 60-year-old son coming up this summer, 60, which is scary. He
Right.
still plays basketball in a club league that is like the Olympic Club in San Francisco, the New York Athletic Club. They have one in Portland, and they still play at different age categories. And he plays in the 50-plus age category. And he sent me a link to be able to watch him play. He played 3 games this past weekend, and I got to watch him playing basketball again. So, hey, those days are not over yet, and it was
No,
fun to watch him.
okay, this is so, and that's, by the way, some of the data points involve um, five boys, men, excuse me, men who all play good ball, pro ball, and Rick and who's your oldest son? I think you were the second
Scooter.
or third father-son combination in pro basketball in history. Is that correct?
No, we were the first time on for the modern NBA for a father to be on a NBA championship team and the son to be on an NCAA championship team. In '88, my son was on the KU Kansas University championship team in '88 that had featured Danny Manning, and my son was
Woo!
on that team. So that was the first time in with the modern NBA. There was one other person that happened to. That would be Matt Gukas, who actually went to college for me for 1 year and was on the 76ers championship team in '67, and his dad. But that was prior to the NBA league. So yeah, there's a lot of trivia stuff involving the Barry. So, in fact, my youngest son, Canyon, and my wife, Lynn, in the history of NCAA basketball, the only mother and son to be first team academic All Americas are my wife, Lynn, and my son, Canyon, which is pretty cool. And my son, Canyon, was 3 times on the All Academic team and was actually the Academic Player of the Year one season.
Okay, so let's say it like this. Basketball is in your blood, in your soul, in your mind. And I want to ask you, Rick Barry, just because I'm interested, and I think other people will. So we talked about the NBA. Prior to the NBA, there was this interesting dynamic between something called the ABA and the NBA.
Well, the NBA was in existence before the ABA, and then the ABA came into existence after I had come into the league. I came in 1965, and then the ABA came into existence in 1967-68 season. So I was the first named player to leave the NBA and go to the ABA. There's a documentary, a 4-part documentary called Soul Power, talking about the ABA and what that league did for basketball and all of the different things that transpired. And it was actually the number one watched documentary on Netflix for quite some time, and everybody has commented about it and said how much they've enjoyed it. So if you haven't watched it, check it out. Soul Power. It's the story about the ABA, who came into existence in the late '60s and really gave so many more players an opportunity to participate on the professional level in the world of basketball. So it's an interesting story, and I was certainly a part of it because I was the first name player to leave. I left the NBA. I was my first 2 years. I was first team All Pro. I led the league in scoring. I was MVP of an All-Star game, and I left to go to this new fledgling league, and it created quite a stir. Trust me.
You were always, let's call it, stirring the pot as a player and someone who followed his own path. And I want to talk about just for a couple of minutes because one of the ideas that stands out about Rick Barry, in addition to being a great scorer, a great ball player, a really aggressive, smart ball player, was your famous underhand free throw. And I want to talk about it for a couple of moments, not moments, a couple of minutes actually, because I've been fascinated based doing research and such, and that it was, at least the way you credit it, it was your dad who taught you how do we do that. And he used a very interesting discussion when he was working with you to show you how to do it. It wasn't just about, well, here's how you do it. He taught you an important concept in life, which is that the key is the result. Is that fair to say?
Well, my father was a semi-pro player and coach. He was a good athlete himself, and so he said, "Son, I think you should try the underhanded method because I think you could shoot a higher percentage, which is the object when you're playing basketball and shooting free throws, is to shoot the highest percentage you can shoot. After all, it's the only part of the game of basketball where someone's not trying to prevent you from doing something on the offensive end. Same size ball, same size basket, same distance every single time. So how do you live with yourself if you can't make 4 out of every 5 shots and shoot 80%? And most players don't. I mean, most teams only average in the low 70s. And so I didn't want to do it mainly because back in those days, girls shot that way. And well, that's how you got the granny. They call it the granny shot. And I don't know why they came up with it. But anyway, girls would shoot that. And I remember saying to my father, I said, Dad, I can't shoot that way. He says, girls shoot that way. I said, everybody's going to make fun of me. And I just remember him like it was yesterday. The words from his mouth were, son, they can't make fun of you if you're making them. And so I just so remember that. And I do remember, here's the thing. I didn't want to do it. And he was relentless about saying, son, if you don't do it, you're doing yourself. And here again, be happy, right? Be the best you can be. If you're not doing, you have to do it for yourself first and foremost. But if you don't do it, you're letting yourself down. You're letting your teammates down. And on the professional, if you're going to college or high school, you're letting your team down, right? So you got to do it. He said, you really have to do it if you can shoot a higher percentage. And so that kind of resonated with me. And so because he was relentless, I honestly did it only one reason, to get him off my back. He was driving me nuts.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's put you on pause. On that note, we're going to, everybody, don't go away. We have sponsors that love our show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worth your time and attention. You on a cliffhanger like that. We'll be right back. Don't go away. There's more Rick Barry, a great champion of sports.
Hey, quick pause. If something you just heard made you stop and think, don't let that moment pass. Because that shift, that awareness, is the doorway to real joy. Barry Shore has put together a free ebook with simple, powerful strategies to help you live in joy every day. Go to barryshore.com and download your free copy now, because one small shift can change everything.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. You're good looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Rick Barry. He is a true superstar in the world of basketball and the world of commentary and the world of life, because he knows how to integrate goodness into his being and project it and help other people. So we're on the edge of something really fascinating, Rick, because you wanted to get your father off your back, say, Dad, leave me alone over there. Okay, I'll do the sissy shot, the granny shot, underhand. That's what girls do. And yet you achieve something that very few people in any aspect of professional basketball or even college achieve, which is a plus minus 90% success rate on free throws. Is that correct?
Well, actually, I got better than that, because here's the thing. You should never, ever be satisfied with what you're doing. You should always be striving to get better. You don't ever want to get to the point where you're satisfied with what you have accomplished. There's always a way, somehow, some way, to perhaps get better. And so I said, how can I get better at this? I got to get better. And so I experimented and I changed my technique. I just wish I had been smarter earlier in my career, because I could have put up some crazy numbers. My last 6 years after I refined the technique my dad had taught me, I shot over 92% for those 6 years. My last two years, I shot over 94%. And so I only missed, in my last 2 full seasons, I only missed 19 free throws, 10 in one season, 9 in another. And I tell you, I was mad 19 times because I felt I should never miss, because it's all on me. And the only reason I missed it is that I didn't technically do it correctly. And so I accepted that. But I still remember the first game on the road when I decided to shoot underhanded in high school. And I don't remember if it was my junior or senior year, to be honest. And I was in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. I still remember we were playing in Scotch Plains, and it was the third quarter of the game. And I heard a guy from the stands when I got to the free throw line yelling, "Hey, Barry, you big sissy, shooting like that." And I heard the guy next to him so perfectly clear. He said, "What are you making fun of him for? He doesn't miss." And I was, from that point forward, I was cool. My father was right. They can't make fun of you because they look like idiots. So that was it. That was the turning point for me. I said, okay, this is cool. But I'm proud of myself for not being satisfied, because I was the best free throw shooter in professional basketball. And yet I changed my technique to get better. And that's why I had so much respect for Tiger Woods, who was the greatest golfer during his time. He changed his swing. He's the greatest golfer, and he changed his swing to get better. He wasn't satisfied being the best. He wanted to be even better. And that's what I did. So that's why I can relate to that. And I really had great respect for Tiger Woods. In fact, I have great respect for anybody who's great at anything they do in life, regardless of what the profession is, because I know myself what you put into it to get there. The first thing is you have to love what you're doing and have a passion for what you're doing. You're never going to be as good at something if you don't love it. because you won't put the effort behind it as much because it's not as meaningful to you as it is if you really love and have a passion for it. So I try to get kids to find something in life you have a love and a passion for, learn as much as you can about it, and lay the foundation that you can build on. You can't build a skyscraper on a small foundation, it will topple over. So you want to constantly work and constantly be learning and get better at what you're doing and get to the point where the most important characteristic, the most important quality that you need to really be great in life is you have to have confidence in yourself and your ability to do what you've trained to do. Confidence eliminates the word pressure from the world because pressure does not exist unless you allow it to exist.
So it's difficult to be at this point of time, the 21st century. And I think people will be watching this 100 years from now, maybe 500 years from now, without mentioning the two letters AI. Now, I want to mention to you, Rick Barry, what you just said is what we're going to talk about. Ready? AI stands for always improving.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, AI should be a part of your life.
Right? That's what it
Before the technical AI
is. Right.
came into being, that should always have been a part of your life.
Right.
Again, never be satisfied, always improving is a great way to look at it for sure.
Okay, I'm going to let's have a little fun thing here. If I remember correctly, because I think I saw it or we talked about it, Shaq and maybe one other great basketball player, you were urging them to consider using the granny shot, we'll call it, for free throws. And I think it was Shaq who says to you, "Hey, I can't do that. That's not cool." Is that
Now,
true?
he said, I'm a hip hop kind of guy and it would be bad for my image. So, and the thing is Shaq was such a big, powerful guy. I didn't want to get him upset with me. So I didn't try to pursue it that much. And I wanted to say to him at the time, I just wanted to say, well, bad for your image. I said, what do you think your image is now when you shoot free throws? People think you think you're not very good.
They
You don't
think
have a very good image at shooting free throws, and you're costing your team games.
so.
And
This
but anyway, I just let it go, and I never try to force my kids. All my kids were good free throw shooters. My son Scooter was actually very good. In fact, in that game I just mentioned and talked about, where I got to see him play, I was almost 60 years old in that club stuff last weekend. He said, Dad, I'm dedicating my free throws to you. I'm going to shoot them underhanded, because he never did it in his career, even though he was an 80% free throw shooter regularly and he could shoot in the 80s. He said, Dad, it's hard enough being your son without shooting underhanded free throws. And so I said to him, I said, son, that might be true. But if you could shoot a higher percentage underhanded, you're doing yourself and your team a disservice by not shooting them that way. And he actually shot them pretty well. In fact, one of the games they won all three of the games they played on, one on Saturday, two on Sunday, and he made two very important free throws late in a very close game that they won. So I was kind of proud of him for doing that. But I never tried to force him to do it, because all my boys were in the 80 percentile. My son Brent did it. He had the highest percentage he ever had underhanded, and for some reason he changed. I think he would have been up in the 90s. And my son John, overhand, he never tried underhanded, but he shot over 90% overhand. So, and my son Drew was over 80%. So there was no reason. My son Canyon did shoot underhanded, and he did shoot. He got to 90%. So, it's pretty cool that they were, a couple of them were willing to give it a shot. Especially Canyon was the one that I think did it, because he's so smart. I mean, he's got his master's in nuclear engineering, and so he figured out that, hey, it's proven by physicists, and he has his degree in physics as well as his master in nuclear engineering. So he said, well, wait a second, if it's proven scientifically that this is the way to do it, why the hell would I not do it?
what's the matter with me?
Yeah, exactly.
You said something fascinating. I want to make an analogy: free throws and life. Like you said, free throws is the only place in basketball where you don't have at least five huge aggressive beings trying to stop you from scoring. Here you have an opportunity from the same distance all the time. And okay, there's thousands of people screaming, yelling, but when you have confidence, as you said, you can filter that through. And now when you know that you have a process that can actually win a basketball game, because free throws do make a difference, don't they, Rick?
Oh, huge difference. I mean, if an NBA team shot over 80% or more, they're going to win a minimum of 3 to 5 extra games during the course of the season, which could be critical as far as whether or not you're going to be first in your division or your conference and get home court advantage. So, yeah, it's without question it make a difference and make a team much more successful.
And, and I just love this whole idea of, well, that's just not my image. Wait a minute, your image is you're a winner. Okay, let's leave that. We'll put it here. Talk about winners. Well, let's go nostalgia, because you and I are almost similar age, just a few years apart. And when I think of you, I think of some. I'm going to just throw some names, and if you can riff on it, that would be great. One of them is the Big O, Oscar Robertson.
Yeah, Oscar Robertson was very special. He was the first guy to ever average a triple double. For those who don't understand, a triple double is averaging double figures in points, rebounds, and assists in one game. And so, but Oscar was at a high level. Oscar averaged like 30 points, 10 assists or more, and 10 rebounds a game for a point guard, which is pretty unheard of. Steph Curry, does that on a fairly regular basis. But the guy that's doing it now, that's insane, is the Joker, Djokovic from Denver, the Serbian guy. He's been MVP a couple of different times. Really fun guy to watch, and yeah, that's pretty special when you can be a triple double guy. In fact, nobody had done anything to average a triple double for an entire season. Oscar did that. He almost did it a few times, and Westbrook actually tied the record and averaged a triple double for a whole season. But I tell everybody, I said the biggest difference between them is that Oscar wasn't trying to average a triple double. He just played.
Win for the team.
He just played. And in a lot of cases, Westbrook and his teammates, they were trying to help him get triple doubles. That wasn't the case with Oscar. I'm not taking anything away from Westbrook because he played hard. I love his approach to the game as far as playing so hard. I do think he tried to force things a little bit more, but still a great accomplishment. But Oscar's just came within the course of being the great player that he was, and so yeah, something special about that for sure. And even to the point where some of these guys have scored a bunch of points, and when the 83 points, this guy got the other day. I mean, but they were out there working to try to help get him points. I mean, it was, hey, if you're going to score the points during the course of a game that means something when you're competitive and doing it, not out there trying to do it. I just have an issue with that. And I know one thing: if I was coaching against him, any player, if I coach, there's not a way in hell I'm letting somebody score that many points against my team. I'll put all 5 guys guarding them. I'm not letting them get those points.
Shoot that one down. I'm going to ask you, put you on the spot, only because I really like Oscar Robertson. I mean, he's the Big O. To me, he always seemed like a great guy off the court also.
Yeah, Oscar's, he's a good person. I've done a number of things with him. Of course, he helped start up the NBA Retired Players Association along with Dave DeBusschere and Earl Monroe. Let me see, who was it? Dave DeBusschere, Dave Bing, and a couple other guys that helped form that union, which was really a big thing for the league to have that for the players. And then, of course, he had the lawsuit under him when he was with the retired players that they won the Larry O'Brien deal, and he did a lot of good things for the league. But just an amazing player, just did things effortlessly. And so I had the good fortune of being with Oscar a number of times. In fact, I just saw, at the All-Star game in San Francisco that just took place fairly recently, year before, last year, I sat with him at the Legends brunch that they have, which is one of the most popular events. They have an All-Star weekend in San Francisco, and so I actually sat with him and his daughter. So anyway, he's really a special person and player.
Okay, let's talk about Bill Walton.
I got to be friends with Bill Walton too. Bill is another exceptional guy. What a shame that he's no longer with us. At least Oscar's still around. I mean, Bill, he wound up getting diagnosed with prostate cancer, and it was so far stage 4, I think it was, that in 3 months he was gone and nobody really knew about it. That was a shocker to me because Bill and I, and he invited me to go, had gone on this bike rides to raise money for the challenged athletes in San Diego, from Sausalito all the way to San Diego on a bike ride, a week, a 5-6 day trip. That was pretty amazing, raising money for them. And I had gone on that with Bill and got to know him pretty well. Special guy, and such a shame that he's no longer with us. Very interesting life that he led with all of the crazy enough things that he was done with, what, the Sudanese Liberation Army and all that, the Patty Hearst deal back in those days. And Bill is so funny because he had a stuttering problem when he was younger and he couldn't really speak particularly well, and he was able to overcome that. And then he's got into obviously broadcasting and doing a lot of cool things. I joke with him all the time because we got to be good friends. I said, Bill, there are a lot of people that are upset with you. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, yeah. He said, what do you mean? Why are they upset with me? I said, because a lot of them are mad at you because you got over your stuttering problem, because now they say you talk too much.
Well, one of the things I loved about Bill Walton, I mean, I didn't get close to know him, is that he credited Coach Wooden with his ability to become what he became. Bill Walton grew regularly, like you were talking about AI, always improving. That was him. And he said it was because of Coach Wooden. He used to speak, when he did his talks, he would always reference Coach John Wooden from UC.
Well, definitely, that's true. I mean, Bill. I mean, there was a lot of input from John to form Bill as a person, no question about that. And John Wooden was a very special individual in that regard. He was a heck of a player himself, but he also was a good mentor for the players that had the good fortune of playing for him. I I got to know John and with him a number of times, and just had incredible respect for him. And so Bill loved him. I mean, he really truly loved him. And Bill was a unique individual, to say the least. I mean, he was a deadhead because he loved. He loved.
That was another thing I loved about him.
Well, he loved. I mean, I think he used to go to all the concerts for. And I'm going to draw a blank on the name right now for. Who the heck was it? The group that he loved. He was so in love with the guys that were the psychedelic guys, the rock group.
Right, and he was a vegetarian also.
Well, he was a vegetarian, which I don't think helped him as far as all the problems he wound up having with his ankles and bones and stuff like that. I don't think that helped him a lot. Grateful Dead, I think it was the group that he really loved. And,
he was a deadhead.
Yeah, he was a deadhead. Yeah, so but a really interesting guy. Really, he and his wife Lori were great, and I had a lot of fun with Bill, and was very sad when he passed away, without question. But and a hell of a basketball player. I mean, oh my God, if he hadn't gotten hurt, he was probably had some of the most impeccable timing. Had one of the greatest games ever in the history of the NCAA tournament. When he was just ridiculous. I think he was like 22 for 23 or I mean, it was ridiculous how good he played in the game. And he could rebound, he could kick the ball out to start the fast break. Like I say, impeccable timing, really good defender, and really understood the game. And that's because he was taught the game by one of the great coaches, John Wooden.
Right, as he said, John Wooden made me. I'm a man because of him. It's wonderful. It's right now you are involved in two interesting sports: fly fishing and pickleball.
Yeah, well, in life you have to have passions, like I mentioned earlier. Basketball obviously was my passion for such a long period of my life. Can't play it anymore. Well, I could play it, but I wouldn't be very good. And I'd probably too easy to get hurt. And I found out that when you get older, it's so much easier to get hurt and so much more difficult to heal. So I try to stay away from that. And people say, "Why don't you go play?" I said, "Why would I want to go something I was really good at and be mediocre at best?" I said, "No, I'll find something else." So I got into long driving in golf, actually, and but golf is so difficult. It's such a hard game, the most difficult sport I ever tried to play. So many variables. It's nothing like it in the world that's as difficult as golf, I don't think. And so I won 4 world long driving championships in my age category. Then they got rid of that, so I couldn't compete with that, and I needed to compete. It's in my DNA, competing. And so then my wife turned me on to pickleball. And then I also just got into, for more fun stuff, but still challenge, is fly fishing, which is really an art form. It's the better you get at your casting, the more fish you're going to catch. And I just really love fly fishing. Just got back from the Amazon jungle, fishing for peacock bass. I was at the South Island, New Zealand, fishing for big brown trout. I'm hoping next year to go for golden dorado in Argentina. So I have my bucket list for things to do fishing, and Alaska is amazing. But yeah, pickleball, again, you'd have to have your passion, but again, learn the fundamental principles and concepts. I took 2 years. I said, I want to win some major tournaments. So I learned about the sport. I took 2 years going. I would get up early and drive 2 hours, which I hate getting up early, other than now to go fishing or to catch an airplane. But I would get up at 6 in the morning, drive 2 hours to go up to a place called the Villages in Florida, where they have some great pickleball players, a lot of older guys who are Hall of Famers. And I accelerated my learning curve by going to play with the
Okay,
better people.
let's put you on pause for a moment. Remember, we have sponsors that love our show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think you're worthy of your time and
I
attention.
understand it. I used to do radio myself. I know what it's like. So go
We're going
ahead.
to come back with pickleball and Rick Barry and following your passion and always improving right after this message. Don't go away.
Hey, quick pause. If something you just heard made you stop and think, don't let that moment pass. Because that shift, that awareness, is the doorway to real joy. Barry Shore has put together a free ebook with simple, powerful strategies to help you live in joy every day. Go to barryshore.com and download your free copy now, because one small shift can change everything.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you good-looking show is looking for it, finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. Rick Barry, a remarkably powerful and successful basketball player and a wonderful father with 5 sons, all playing pro ball and involved deeply. Even his daughter is. I met his daughter in Mesa, Arizona recently at the pickleball court. We're about to talk about pickleball and fly fishing. I just want to make mention to you something you're going to really enjoy. This little acronym, Rick. Fly fishing. So fly is FLY, of course, right? And you talked about before, you need to have sense of self before you can help other people. Well, FLY stands for first love yourself.
You do love those acronyms, don't you? I mean, which is good stuff, though. I mean, you come up with some good ones. That's makes a lot of sense. You have to first love yourself in order to be able to love and make other people happy. So we gone over that, that's for sure. And fly fishing was awesome, and pickleball is awesome because I took those 2 years. And 2024, since 24 was my number, I said, okay, I'm going to make 2024 a great year. I'm going to play singles, which I hadn't played because I didn't know if my knee could take it with no cartilage, and play singles, mixed doubles, and men's doubles. And I won a lot of tournaments in mixed doubles and men's doubles. And of course, when you play doubles, you have to rely on your partner. You got to get a good partner. You're not going to win if you have a bad partner. Okay, it's just that's not going to happen. So my partners did a great job. I won multiple tournaments. USA Pickleball Nationals, US Senior Nationals, the US Open, the World Senior Games. And so then I said, well, let's try it and see if I can get what's called the Triple Crown and win it with singles as well. And so you have to win all 3 in the same tournament. And in 2024, I came close to getting the 12 gold medals. My last one was mixed doubles at the US Seniors, and we came up short. The team that wound up beating us to get the gold, we had beaten before. And I was not happy because I didn't play my best, nor did my partner. And so I got a silver medal there. And so this past year, I got a different partner and played in the U.S. Seniors and got the Triple Crown there. So all the major tournaments, I've managed to get the Triple Crown. So I've accomplished that.
You're the horse racer. The
Yeah.
Triple Crown.
Yeah.
The Derby and the Preakness and the Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, well, I actually love watching horse racing, going to the track, getting to the up in the clubhouse there, and having a nice lunch, and watching the horses run because they're magnificent. And I did something so cool. I participated in the George Plintham harness racing competition. I did that for a couple of summers. It was unbelievable. I got to actually drive. I had all the silks, dressed up and driving the sulky with the helmet, the glasses, and the whip, and won. It came from 22 lengths off the pace at the Meadowlands in New Jersey to win a race. And I still have that picture of, it's black and white. I have a picture of me brandishing my whip up in the air. and my horse, it was a pacer, not a trotter, it was a pacer. All 4 feet are off the turf. It's such a cool picture, and I have video of me actually being of the race and coming from 22 lengths off the win. So that was one of the coolest things ever. Taking that, holding the horse, having control. We didn't drive the regular sulkies; we drove training carts, and you take your horse, you get him up, have him so he's pacing properly, nose right up against where the gate is and the number you're supposed to be. And then that gate opens and the bell rings. That's a rush. That's an adrenaline rush. It was so, I just loved that so much. And, unfortunately, they had to stop it because they realized it could have been very dangerous because I could have easily been killed actually in one race, which was kind of scary. But fortunately, I didn't. But so they stopped doing it because they realized that it could have been dangerous, and the last thing they wanted to do is do something like that and have somebody get killed. But uh, Big John Studd, the wrestler, was behind me racing up in Saratoga, and his horse, he got too close to me, and his horse, one of his front legs and paw and hoof went into the left wheel on my cart and had spokes on it, and my cart obviously Joe went over to the side like that, and we're not strapped in obviously, and it threw me off, and they had a low bar, there's a low railing over there, and so fortunately I was athletic enough at the time and everything, I was able to dive off and go into the infield. Had that horse done that on the right wheel and I had lost everything and gone to the right, I was leading the pack. I would have got run over and trampled by the other horses and all the other training carts, and it could have been bad. It could have been very bad.
Unexpected. That's, by the way, I am fascinated by that because I had a vision, three things all at once. Number one, all four hooves off the ground. It's a famous picture that was taken in the 1880s by a famous photographer who snapped frame after frame after frame, proving that when a horse races, all four legs go off the ground.
Yeah, well, in pacing, it for sure it does that. Yeah, there's a time when all four of them are off the ground. That's pretty cool.
Woo! that was great stuff. Rick, I created a little acronym for your name that I wrote during the breaks. Can I share it with you?
Of course.
RICK. You ready?
I'm ready.
Remarkable insights creating kindness.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing here. Okay. Rick Barry, I'm loath to say the words I'm about to say. We're coming to a close on our time together. So I have three quick questions for you, sir. Are you ready?
I'll try to give you three quick answers. As you could tell, I'm a bit verbose at times.
You're doing beautifully. First one, quick answer. Would you come back again?
Come back in what?
Come back again for another session?
Sure.
Okay. You hesitated.
Well, I didn't know coming back in, I didn't know where you wanted me to go into.
Back for another session on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Without question. But I mean, are you to come back in? I mean, are you asking me to come back in? I got to know where I'm going to go in.
Okay. Number two, Rick Barry, you have 80 seconds only to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire in life at this point?
Well, probably to see parts of the world that I haven't seen yet with my wife, and to spend as much time with her as I can, because she's one of the most remarkable people I've ever been around. I love her dearly. She's definitely made me a better person, and to hopefully spend more time with my children during the time that I have left. And I'm praying that my goal is to be at least 100 years old and still be able to fly, fish, and play pickleball, and to try to make the most of every day that I can, if God is kind enough to continue to bless me with good health. But to enjoy life, joy, right? Fun, yes, love, all those good things, and try to get as much of that as I possibly can.
As Rabbi Grossman would say, Amen. Amen. And number three, Rick Barry, may I give you a hug in front of 526,911 people around the world?
You can give me a hug. If we were in person, you could give me a hug, which would be better, because I'm a big believer. My wife had talked about it. There's something special about a relationship between a man and a woman. And there's something about skin on skin.
Yeah.
Even holding an infant, skin on skin is a special thing, and you can just you can just feel the person and their heartbeat and the love, hopefully, that's generated by both parties. But skin on skin is special.
Well, HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. One,
Love
two.
it. I'm a much better giver than I am a receiver.
Okay, here we come. 1, 2, 3. Remember, you're listening to The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and our amazing guest, Rick Barry. And this show, remember, Rick, great guy that he is, not about him. Barry Shore, fabulous fellow, it's not about him. It's about you. Y-O-U. You becoming the best you, because when you are the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Remember the 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, your life has purpose. Lead a purpose-driven life. Number 2 happens. You go mad. Now, MAD stands for make a difference. Lead a purpose-driven life, make a difference in the world. And number 3 is to open up and uncover the power and the sequence of everyday words and terms. WWW. What a wonderful world. Smile.
One last thing. You're not a perfect human being, and don't be afraid to fail. Failure is the greatest way to learn how to do something properly. Learn from your mistakes, and that will help you get through life a lot nicer and a lot easier.
We are so happy that he's here with us. And what he just said was the ability for you to create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking. Just listen to what he said. Enabling all to excel. Go forward, stumble, pick yourself up, do it again. Keep growing. Remember, AI, always improving, and use 4-letter words. Now, the kind that we use, we live in the world with a positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Love, life, hope, play, free, gift, swim, and tell the world to F you. Remember, add right away, capital N, capital N, and remember to share this with 5 people. That way, 2.5 million people around the world will feel the power of what we did here today. And I'm going to give a blessing from Rick, Barry, and Barry Shore. And that blessing is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Rick, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.